Well, there you go. That's how the winds are formed here on our planet. A very interesting graphic there showcasing very well just how winds are formed on planet Earth and really anywhere. It's just a pressure change. It has to do with the pressure change between low and high pressure. The pop can illustration shows that pretty well there with that graphic. So now this next video, I want to talk a little bit more about localized weather and how it is affected with the Lake Superior and with our hills around our region here. So take a look at this, at a more specific look at weather around the Northland when it comes to winds. Hey there folks, Meteorologist Hunter McCullough here for Northern News Now. Now we're going to be talking about winds, which we talked about in the previous video, mentioning how winds are created, and it's basically because of the change of pressure in the atmosphere. But also, now we're going to talk about how it relates here to the Northland, a more specific, more local look at how winds impact us and what we look for as meteorologists in the wind direction. It means everything to anybody that's a meteorologist, but especially here in the Northland with that big old lake and all the mountains and hills that we have around that big old lake. So let's talk here about different wind directions. One of the ones that we look for, of course, a lake breeze. We've got winds out of the east-northeast, out of the east, out of the northeast, any direction like that, but especially out of the east-northeast when we've got a nice long stretch of some winds coming off of Lake Superior. In the summer, of course, this means cooler temperatures near Lake Superior. In the winter, warmer near the lake because now the air over Lake Superior, the waters are warmer than the air surrounding it. Also, in addition to that, the potential for some lake effect snow, which could be heavy. So that's something that we need to look at. There's a couple more factors that we look at for lake effect snow, and that's definitely one of the factors that we need is winds coming off of Lake Superior. Winds coming the other direction, out of the northwest. In summer, this means warmer near the lake, compressional heating. Wind is moving down the hill, compressing, kinetic energy is getting greater and greater, and we see warmer temperatures near Lake Superior. In winter, it's not quite as defined. It can be warmer near the lake thanks to compressional heating, but we could be a cooler air mass inland, and we could see some cooler temperatures that are near the lake because of this factor, because again, it's warmer over Lake Superior. So it's not quite as defined into the winter, but in summer, usually it means warmer near the lake. Any winds out of the north or out of the south. So northerly winds out of the north, typically cooler weather on the way. Of course, we got cooler weather usually north of us. So if we see winds out of the north coming up, we can usually say, well, it's probably going to be cooler. Might be a front moving in to the Northland, a cold front. Winds out of the south, the exact opposite. You know, generally there's warmer temperatures down to the south. So we typically see warmer weather on the way. Now, another exception to all of this is something that's happened before for sure when it's coming out of multiple directions. Sometimes Lake Superior acts as an area of high pressure in the summer especially. And basically what this does is it can cause different wind directions than what's going on inland over the land. And so it doesn't happen too often, but sometimes you've got strong winds coming off of Lake Superior. You've got strong winds going a different direction and they go against each other. So what happens? At the surface when that happens, it's called convergence. It's something that we look for at the surface here as meteorologists. Again, it's all about forcing air upwards, and that creates weather. That's one of the ways that we can see this happen, is if air is coming from two different directions and forced to go upwards. That's what can cause some problems around the region here. Clouds definitely when this happens, but also this can produce heavy rain or heavy snow if we see that convergence, especially over a longer period of time, a couple hours or a little more than that. And this can happen, this actually happened, I believe, a couple of years ago. There was a time where eastern portions of Duluth saw this convergence, a very localized area. They saw like 5 inches of rain in a very short amount of time. The rest of us around Duluth didn't see quite that much. We saw like an inch or so. But there was a location around the area that saw multiple more inches of rain than what we saw around the rest of Duluth. So there you go, different wind directions and dictating what exactly is going to happen with the weather. Just one of the many factors that we look at when we're making our forecast here in the Northland or anywhere around the world, but definitely impacting us quite a bit with Lake Superior, with the mountainous areas that we have around Lake Superior, the giant hills, if you will, and also here in the Twin Ports. So a lot goes into looking what the wind directions are going to be in the near future and what that means for the forecast. Thank you very much and have a great day.